August 17th, 1996, Saturday night, 3:27 a.m. D&D Studios, Manhattan, 37th floor. The same building where Tupac was shot and robbed 2 years earlier. The same hallway Tupac walked through bleeding. The same elevator where he knew his life changed forever. History thick in these walls. Bad history. Violent history. The kind of history that doesn't let go. Studio C is small, 12 by 14 feet. Soundproof walls. Mixing board taking up half the space. A vocal booth barely big enough for one person. And tonight, that one person is the Notorious B.I.G. 390 pounds squeezed into a space designed for someone half his size. Headphones on, microphone live, recording something that was never supposed to exist. The engineer is Marcus Chen, 29 years old. Been working at D&D for 6 years. Recorded everyone. Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Nas, Jay-Z. Everyone who matters in New York hip-hop has been in this room. But tonight feels different. Tonight feels dangerous. Because what Biggie is recording isn't just a song. It's a declaration of war. It's a murder in audio form. It's the end of Tupac Shakur's career, his credibility, his legacy. All of it destroyed in 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Biggie is on take 3. The first 2 were warm-ups, finding the pocket, getting comfortable. But this one is different. This one is focused. This one is lethal. Marcus watches through the glass as Biggie closes his eyes and starts spitting. And what comes out is the most vicious, brutal, personal attack Marcus has ever heard in his life. Bar after bar, each one more devastating than the last. Biggie isn't just dissing Tupac. He's dismantling him. He's going after everything. The shooting in '94, the prison time, the death row affiliation, Tupac's mother, his relationships, his credibility as a revolutionary, his claims about being real, his entire persona torn apart with surgical precision. And Biggie's flow is perfect. Every word lands. Every punchline hits. Every metaphor cuts deep. Marcus sits at the board with his mouth open. He's heard diss tracks before. Hit 'Em Up came out 2 months ago. Tupac going at Biggie, at Bad Boy, at New York. That track was brutal. That track was war. But this is different. This isn't angry. This is cold. This is calculated. This is a man who's thought about every word, who's crafted every bar to inflict maximum damage, who's built a nuclear weapon out of syllables and rhythm. The track is 6 minutes 42 seconds. Biggie doesn't stop, doesn't stumble, doesn't miss a beat, just delivers bar after bar of complete destruction. When he finishes, he takes off the headphones, breathes, doesn't look at Marcus, just stands there in the booth, silent. Marcus rewinds the track. Big, you want to hear it back? Biggie nods, comes out of the booth, sits on the couch, the same couch where 100 rappers have sat, where hits were made, where careers were launched. Tonight it's where Biggie sits to hear himself destroy another man's life. Marcus hits play. The track fills the studio. And it's even better than Marcus thought. The mix is perfect. Biggie's voice cuts through. Every word clear. Every bar devastating. This is the hardest diss track ever recorded. Not just in the beef, in hip-hop history. This will end Tupac and Death Row. End the entire West Coast-East Coast war. Because after this, there's no coming back. There's no response. There's only surrender. Marcus is already thinking about the money, about the attention, about being the engineer who recorded the track that ended the biggest beef in rap. His career will be made. D&D Studios will be legendary. This moment will be talked about forever. He's watching history happen. He's part of it. He's... Turn it off! Biggie's voice cuts through the track. Marcus pauses it. You want to hear it from the top? I can. Turn it off. I'm done listening. Marcus stops the track. Silence fills the studio. Just the hum of equipment. The distant sound of traffic 37 floors below. The 2 men sitting in a small room at 3:45 in the morning with a track that could change everything. So you want to do another take? Or is this the one? Marcus asks, already knowing the answer. This is the one. This is perfect. This is... I want you to erase it. Biggie says it quietly, calmly, like he's asking for water. Marcus laughs. Nervous laugh. What? Erase it. Delete it. I don't want it to exist. Marcus stares at Biggie, waiting for the punchline, waiting for the smile, waiting for... I'm just playing. But Biggie's face is serious. Dead serious. Big, I don't think you understand. That track is. I understand exactly what it is. That's why I want it erased. Biggie stands up, walks to the mixing board, looks at the screen showing the waveform. 6 minutes, 42 seconds of audio destruction. Marcus is panicking. Big, This is the hardest diss track I've ever heard. This ends the beef. This ends Tupac. This is poison. Biggie finishes the sentence. This is poison. And I'm not putting poison into the world. But Tupac put out hit him up. He came at you. He came at your wife. He came at your daughter. And that's his karma to carry, not mine. Biggie's voice is still calm, still controlled, but there's something underneath, something heavy. I recorded this because I needed to get it out, needed to say it, needed to spit it, but I don't need to release it. I don't need the world to hear it. I just needed to do it once, and now it's done, and now I want it gone. Marcus tries a different approach. Big, think about Bad Boy. Think about Puffy. This track could. I don't care about Bad Boy right now. I don't care about Puffy. I don't care about sales or publicity or winning the beef. I care about not being the person who puts this level of hate into the world, because that's what this is. Hate. Pure hate. And I'm done with hate. But erase it. Biggie's voice is firmer now. Final. Not a request. A command. Marcus doesn't move. Can't move. His hands are on the keyboard, but he can't make himself press delete. This track is too important, too valuable, too historic. He can't just erase it. He won't erase it. He'll tell Biggie he erased it, but he'll save a copy, keep it, use it later. When Biggie changes his mind, when he realizes, Biggie sees it, sees Marcus hesitating, sees the calculation happening, and Biggie moves, fast for a man his size, reaches past Marcus, hands on the keyboard. If you won't do it, I will. Wait, Big, wait! Marcus tries to pull Biggie's hands away. Just wait. Let's think about this. Let's talk to Puffy. Let's. Biggie's hand hovers over the delete key. This is my voice, my words, my decision, and I'm deleting it. Now move. Marcus doesn't move. Frozen. Watching Biggie's finger above the key that will erase 6 hours of work. Erase the hardest diss track ever made. Erase history. Why? Marcus asks it desperately. Why are you doing this? Biggie pauses, fingers still hovering. You know what happened in this building 2 years ago? Tupac got shot. Right here, in this building. And ever since then, everything's been poison. Everything's been beef. Everything's been hate and revenge and violence. And I'm tired. I'm tired of being part of it. I'm tired of feeding it. I'm tired of being the person who makes it worse. But you didn't start it. Tupac started it. Doesn't matter who started it, matters who ends it. And I'm ending it, right now, by not releasing this. Biggie's finger presses down. The delete prompt appears. Are you sure you want to delete this file? Big, please. Just save a copy, just in case. You might change your mind. You might. I won't change my mind. Biggie presses yes. The track disappears. 6 minutes 42 seconds of audio gone in 1 second. The waveform vanishes from the screen, replaced by silence, empty silence. Marcus stares at the screen. Feels like he's been punched in the stomach. You just erased the best diss track in hip-hop history. Good. Biggie steps back from the board. Now erase it from the backup too, and the autosave, and anywhere else it might be hiding. There's no backup. D&D doesn't auto-backup. It's gone. Completely gone. Marcus sounds defeated, destroyed. Good. Biggie sits back down on the couch. Thank you for recording it. Thank you for letting me spit it. But thank you more for letting me erase it. Marcus turns in his chair, looks at Biggie, really looks at him. Can I ask you something? Yeah. Do you regret it? Deleting it? Biggie thinks for a moment. I regret that it needed to exist in my head. I regret that I felt it. I regret that the beef got to this point. But deleting it? No, I don't regret that. Because releasing that track wouldn't fix anything. It would just make everything worse. It would escalate. It would keep going. And eventually somebody dies. Maybe Tupac. Maybe me. Maybe somebody innocent. And I don't want to be responsible for that. You really think it's that serious? You think somebody could die? I know somebody could die. This beef isn't about music anymore. It's about pride, about reputation, about being the realist. And when it's about that, people get shot. People get killed. Look what happened to Tupac in this building. Look what's happening in LA with Death Row. This isn't a game. This is real violence waiting to happen. And I'm not adding fuel to it. Marcus nods slowly, understanding even though he doesn't want to. What do I tell people? When they ask about tonight, tell them we worked on some track. Tell them nothing special happened. Tell them whatever you want except the truth. The truth dies here, in this room, between us. And if Tupac keeps coming at you, if he releases more diss tracks, then he does. And I'll deal with it my way. But my way isn't going to be more poison. My way isn't going to be hate. My way is going to be living my life, making my music, taking care of my family, and letting karma handle the rest. They sit in silence for a few minutes, just the hum of equipment, the weight of what just happened settling. Finally, Marcus speaks. For what it's worth, I respect what you just did. I don't understand it, but I respect it. Thanks. Biggie stands up. I'm going home. You staying? Yeah. Got another session at 7. Might as well sleep here. Alright, get some rest. Biggie walks to the door, stops, turns back. Marcus, I'm serious. Nobody can know about this. Nobody. Not Puffy. Not my crew. Nobody. This stays between us. I won't say anything. You have my word. Good. Biggie opens the door. The hallway light spills in. Thanks again for understanding. Yeah. Big. Anytime. Biggie leaves. The door closes. Marcus sits alone in the studio staring at the empty screen where the track used to be. Part of him wants to be angry, wants to call Biggie selfish for deleting something so valuable. But another part understands. Another part sees what Biggie saw. The poison, the escalation, the violence waiting at the end of the road. Marcus pulls out his notebook. The one where he logs all his sessions, writes the date, August 17, 1996, session with Notorious B.I.G. recorded and deleted untitled track. No master exists, and underlines the last sentence twice. 3 weeks and 6 days later, September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur is shot multiple times in Las Vegas. Dies in the hospital, 25 years old. The beef is over, not because someone won, because someone died. When Marcus hears the news, he's in the same studio, Studio C, D&D, and he thinks about that night, about the track Biggie erased, about, I don't want to be responsible for somebody dying, about karma, about poison, about choices. Biggie releases a statement, says he's devastated, says he had love for Tupac despite everything, says the hip-hop community lost a legend, doesn't mention the erased track, doesn't mention that he could have made things worse, doesn't mention that he chose not to. 6 months later, March 9, 1997, Biggie is shot multiple times in Los Angeles, dies in the hospital, 24 years old. The violence he tried to stop consumed him anyway. Marcus Chen keeps the secret for 15 years. Doesn't tell anyone about the erased track. Not friends. Not other engineers. Not journalists. Keeps his word to Biggie. But in 2011, he's diagnosed with cancer. Doctors give him 6 months. And Marcus decides some stories need to be told before they die with you. He reaches out to a documentary filmmaker, tells the story about August 17th, 1996, about the hardest diss track ever recorded, about Biggie choosing to erase it, about I'm not putting poison into the world, about 2 men in a studio making a choice that nobody knows about. The filmmaker wants proof, wants evidence. Marcus has none. No backup, no copy, no recording, just his word, just his logbook entry, just the memory of watching Biggie delete 6 minutes, 42 seconds of pure destruction. The documentary airs. Some people believe it, some don't. Some say Marcus is lying, making himself seem important, creating a myth. But those who knew Biggie believe it, because it sounds like something Biggie would do. Sounds like the kind of restraint Biggie practiced, the kind of wisdom Biggie had, the kind of choice Biggie would make. Puffy is asked about it in an interview. Did Biggie ever record a Tupac diss track? Puffy thinks, if he did, I never heard it. Big kept some things to himself, but it wouldn't surprise me. Big was capable of destroying anyone with words. He could have ended Tupac if he wanted to, but maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he understood that winning the beef wasn't worth what it would cost. Junior MA5 members are asked. None of them know. None of them heard about it, but they believe it could have happened. Big recorded a lot of stuff he never released. A lot of tracks that were too personal, too raw, too real. He was careful about what he put into the world. So yeah, he could have recorded something and erased it. That's Big. That's who he was. Marcus Chen dies in 2012. Cancer takes him. But before he dies, he writes a letter, seals it, gives it to his sister. Open this 10 years after I die. No sooner. She agrees. 2022. Marcus's sister opens the letter. Inside is the logbook entry. August 17th, 1996. Session with Notorious B.I.G. And a handwritten note. To whoever reads this, I'm writing this to set the record straight. On August 17th, 1996, the Notorious B.I.G. recorded the most devastating diss track I've ever heard. It was aimed at Tupac Shakur. It would have ended Tupac's career, destroyed his credibility, won the beef permanently. But Biggie erased it, deleted it completely. When I asked why, he said, I'm not putting poison into the world. 3 weeks later, Tupac was shot and killed. 6 months after that, Biggie was shot and killed. The beef they were trying to win killed them both, but Biggie tried to stop it. He tried to choose peace over revenge. He tried to end the poison. And even though it didn't save him, even though violence took him anyway, I want people to know, Biggie tried. He chose restraint when he could have chosen destruction. And that matters. That should be part of his legacy. Not just the music, not just the talent, but the wisdom to know when to stop. The strength to erase the poison instead of releasing it. That was Biggie. That was who he really was. Marcus Chen. The letter is published, goes viral, millions read it, and the story of the erased diss track becomes part of Biggie's legend. Not the track itself. Nobody will ever hear it, but the choice, the decision. The moment Biggie pressed delete, and chose peace over revenge, chose wisdom over war, chose to end the poison instead of spreading it. That's the story of the track that doesn't exist, the disc that was erased, the weapon that was destroyed before it could kill. The moment Biggie Smalls chose not to be poison, and how that choice, that restraint, that wisdom, might be the most important thing he ever did, even though nobody heard it, even though it didn't save him, even though the violence came anyway. He tried, he chose differently, and that matters.